We've had an absolutely fantastic OstMine conference. Over 1,200 delegates. We've had a world-class lineup of speakers and exhibitors who were part of this event. And I look forward to seeing you in 2021 in Perth.
Welcome to CAT MineStar Solutions session on optimization of load and haul operations with David Nagel and Matt Sampson.
Hi, I'm David Nagel from Caterpillar's MineStar Solutions Group. For the past 20 years, I've been working in the mining and quarrying industries, and I now lead a team of dedicated commercial reps who work with miners to introduce safety and productivity technology solutions throughout the Asia Pacific region.
I'm Matt Sampson. I also work in the MineStar Solutions team. I have a background in applied behavioural science and have previously worked in government, construction and other high-risk environments. I now apply these experiences with my mining clients.
Thanks, Matt. Well, it might not be obvious to you at first, but this is the face of pure evil. Last night, I was forced to go to bed hungry because this little devil on four paws found himself unable to resist the temptation of my succulent lamb roast dinner. Making that connection between my empty plate and the gravy still lodged just above the thief's nose, I quickly descended into a spiral of mourning, anger and blame. How dare this canine culprit deprive me of my hard-earned dinner? But alas, once I moved past the grief of my loss, I had to come to acceptance. Acceptance that maybe, just maybe, I'd made a mistake by leaving my roast unattended and within the reach of my 15-week-old puppy. Now, being the first time I'd allowed this mistake to occur, I categorise it as an original mistake. The basic premise of an original mistake is that it's one which has not been made before. And rather than discipline our people, or in my case puppies, for original mistakes, we should actually thank them. We should thank them for helping us to discover gaps in our processes and for finding new ways to improve. For me, I now relocate my dinner plate whenever I leave the table, and the dog is now in his area during dinner. What we want to ensure, though, is that all of our mistakes are kept to original mistakes, because once they become repeated mistakes, we're showing that we've failed to learn and to adapt. When we repeat our mistakes, we are embedding inefficient and costly steps into our processes and culture. So what does losing my roast dinner to the pup have to do with the optimization of load and haul operations? Well, the research tells us that many mining operations have embedded repeated mistakes into their operating practices. A recent article in the International Journal for Environmental Sciences and Natural Resources tells us that for the most part, many mining operations aren't even aware of the mistakes that they're making. The authors of the article point to data shortfalls as key reasons for mine managers losing visibility to their operational inefficiencies. These include factors such as insufficient data, inaccurate data, data processing delays, and even manipulated data. Matt, I know that in your role, you go to many mine sites and see a lot of different operations from day to day. Given your background in organisational psychology, what are your learnings about the links between data and operational efficiency?
So the first point is actually understanding your data, what you have available currently, and making sure that it's accurate. By having data that is accurate and relevant, you have a building block to apply a scientific approach to measuring your site's efficiencies. A key point here is ensuring that your data is not only accurate, but relevant. It's always important to keep in your mind that you can't measure what you can't see and you can't manage what you can't measure. On the other hand, there are increasingly expensive approaches to collecting data that are not actually contributing towards efficiency in the now. If you're wanting to increase operational efficiency, you need to be able to measure accurately where you're at, set that as a baseline, and benchmark against industry standards, best practice, and using your perceived potential. It's only then that we can quantify those areas which are underperforming and then go about introducing the necessary changes to processes and efficiencies that we can gain through addressing that delta. So the question then arises also, what sort of profits are mining operations missing out on by not taking advantage of these efficiency gains?
Well, broadly speaking, we can look at these through the lenses of productivity and quality. Starting with productivity, the productivity of a shift is going to be determined by utilisation and rate of production. Now, the basic principles of utilisation are well known. We start with 8,760 hours in a year, and ultimately we want our mine or our rock factory to be moving material for as many of those hours as possible. We know, however, that we're going to lose some time to shutdowns and environmental factors such as storms and lightning events that make it unsafe to operate. So our 8,760 hours might go down to 7,800 hours. And then we'll lose further operating time to equipment availability. We know that it's critical that trucks and shovels are maintained and repaired, but this is unproductive time. So now we go down to say 7,000 hours, and then we'll lose hours to delays. These are our shift changes, crib breaks and refueling, and this could easily add up to 2.5 to 3 hours per shift, taking our total utilisation down to 52 to 5,300 hours per year. All of a sudden, our rock factory is only operational for 60% of the year, or if you average it out, 7.2 hours per 12-hour shift. So seeing as we have so precious few operating hours at our disposal, you can understand why it becomes so vital that each hour of our operation is being used to its full potential. When we drive around our sites, we want to see shovels digging, swinging and loading, and trucks out there spotting, hauling and dumping. But is this our reality? Well, sadly, not always. What we see far too often when we drive around our sites are multiple trucks queued up at a shovel, just burning fuel while they wait. And then we'll drive some more and find a shovel with its loaded bucket in the air, just waiting for a truck to come and spot. We look at our haul roads and see trucks bunched up behind an overloaded truck, only to have to queue again when they get to the dump. So how many of our 7.2 hours in the shift are then being wasted on inefficient operations? And this is all without taking into account the amount of rework carried out by our highly valuable resources who are double and sometimes triple checking and correcting the reports and communications that are essential to production, maintenance and planning. And then we have to apply the human factor, which impacts our quality. Where we have specific blending requirements, we introduce further costs to the process by insisting on rehandle, because we can't achieve the right blend through direct tipping. And what about the cost of a misplaced load? Due to any number of factors, be it communication, fatigue, distraction, or even behavioural factors, mistakes do occur, and we know that many a truckload of high-grade ore has found its way over the dump. Now, even if that only occurs once in every month, for a 20-truck fleet with a 45-minute haulage loop, that adds up to hundreds of thousands of dollars of lost product in any given year. And when we compound these productivity and quality factors with cycles of low commodity prices, it's no wonder that the viability of so many mining operations remains marginal and that others are abandoned altogether. On an average utilisation of 7.2 hours per shift, just an extra half hour equates to a production increase of around 7%. So that's 7% of extra production for an extra half hour per shift. Now on our 20 truck fleet, that's a production of almost 1.5 trucks. And then what if we take those hours and we use them more effectively, reducing our queuing, bunching and hang time, and reducing our rehandle and the amount of misplaced loads? Well, for a marginal operation, that could easily mean the difference between ongoing employment and community support, or being placed into care and maintenance, or worse still, closure. But if you're responsible for a mining operation which is still using manually entered load sheets, what chance do you really have of identifying and making these improvements? For starters, your data is going to be incomplete or inaccurate. And furthermore, by the time you've actually processed it into a report, you're reviewing it retrospectively. So all your opportunity for in-shift adjustment has now been lost. Matt, you made mention earlier that you can't manage what you can't measure. But we know that there are multiple technology solutions out there today that offer equipment tracking, they measure utilisation, and they trace material movement. So why isn't every mine site taking advantage of these various technology solutions today?
So there's a lot of reasons as to why new technology isn't taken up by a site. So with significant investment, there are obviously approvals and timelines that need to be addressed. Other times it's caution and limited exposure to early adopter status or first follower. However, in my opinion, it's by far resistance to change and cultural reasons for not adopting technology. I'll often talk to sites and leadership that will see the potential for the technology but get caught up on the reasons not to make the transition. It's important to note as well that we're dealing with people that are making these decisions, not just machines. As tough and as hard as some of our miners are, they have emotions and feelings towards things that are sometimes based either in previous best practice or it's not current, or simply fear of the unknown. So pen and paper with an Excel spreadsheet can get your site humming along nicely with the right operators and the right team, but you still don't have that visibility and opportunity for real-time change that increases productivity, efficiency, or even both. As humans, we also get attached to our processes and routines. If a change comes in to threaten those, more often than not, that it will be resisted. So for this reason, it's important for leaders to assess their response to a potential change and look at how they can potentially reframe that narrative. So an example may be a site using manual load sheets and then updating at the end of shift. A fleet management system may elicit thoughts of high capital expenditure, ongoing operational expense, steep learning curve, and the cost of both resourcing and recruiting. So these are all logical thoughts that go along with the potential technology uptake. So let's have a quick dive in and consider other thoughts that may be occurring for leadership. Some may feel that they don't understand how it works and don't want to look out of touch in front of their people, or that their people aren't capable or ready for this and likely won't be ready in the future, or that the current system is working fine without the technology, so why embrace it and bring it in anyway? So now imagine reframing some of these. Firstly, you'd look to view it through a different lens. Consider instead what is being left on the table. What is the cost of a misplaced load? What time can we get back by eliminating rework and enabling those resources to focus on continual improvement projects? What impact would that have on mine planning and adherence to plan, and how operations can potentially be empowered to be the best that they can be? And in regards to those other thoughts that I was discussing, consider where taking no action actually leads to. If you don't embrace the technology and continue on your path, will you look out of touch? Similarly, if you don't embrace the technology, can your people ever become capable in the use of it? Being able to take this approach and critically evaluate your own thoughts on these topics is a tough exercise, but it will yield strong dividends for your site. I'm not saying it's an easy step to take, as being in the leadership position carries with it high expectations and high workload. But if you're able to take the time to consider reframing and critically evaluate the potential of the opportunity, it will be a worthwhile exercise. It's also important to acknowledge that once the decision has been made to embrace a new technology, I really can't stress strongly enough how a rigorous change management strategy is needed. By developing, sponsoring, and resourcing the change, you're also ensuring that technology is able to be embedded within the site culture. When I say change management, I'm not simply talking about process and a timeline. I'm talking about considering the site culture and designing a strategy based upon that. So this is also where the capability of the technology provider comes into play. The support that they are placed to offer becomes invaluable throughout the planning, deployment, and operational phases. So finding a partner rather than a provider is a key piece of the puzzle when you're looking into technologies.
Thanks, Matt. So what if we could remove these barriers to change? What if we could ensure highly accurate data capture by utilizing data fusion and machine learning? What if we could turn this into actionable information through intuitive user interfaces? And what if we could make relevant information available to operational personnel in near real time without the expense and hassle of purchasing and maintaining on-site servers? Well, pit supervisors would now have a bird's eye view of their site and be able to track their progress to production targets, enabling them to make informed decisions in shift and to address inefficiencies before those targets become unrecoverable. All material flow would be accounted for from source to sink. Operators would be motivated to ensure that each minute of their shift is helping achieve their targets, and management would be equipped with the tools to analyse and improve their operations. Data entry personnel, well, they'd be freed up to more meaningful and value-adding activities. But ultimately, through greater utilisation, improved efficiencies, and strengthened compliance to the mining plan, mining operations would stand to gain a double-digit % productivity improvement. Well, the good news is that all of this is available today, and in a form that is designed for ease of implementation and use, allowing sites to start small and scale up to a full operational ecosystem. And that solution is Caterpillar's MineStar Edge. Edge creates an operational ecosystem that gives you visibility to every aspect of your operation, allowing you to efficiently execute your mine plan and deliver optimal quality to the plant and to the surface. Edge makes it possible to measure, manage, analyze, and optimize your entire operation. And because it's delivered as a cloud-based, subscription-managed application, it lowers costs and delivers a better user experience. MineStar Edge delivers better solutions. It leverages the latest technology advancements, including data fusion, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, so it will continue to get smarter as it collects data. It identifies patterns and learns to make decisions with minimal human intervention. Edge also significantly improves the user experience. Because it's cloud-based, it lowers network requirements as well as the associated costs of deployment, service, and training. It also reduces that time from order to use and allows for automatic upgrades, updates, and fixes. With an intuitive user interface and minimal hardware reliance, Edge makes technology more cost-effective and efficient and allows operations of every size and type to more easily take advantage of the benefits technology makes possible. As we advance our technology offerings, Edge allows us to work with greater velocity. The platform enables our dedicated technology team to more quickly develop and deliver new features and functionality, making Edge a truly future-proofing investment. As they strive towards optimization, today's miners recognise the need for an ecosystem partner that allows them to focus on managing their operation rather than their technology. Wherever they are in their optimization journey, Caterpillar and MineStar Edge make that possible. So if you're responsible for a mine site that still uses paper load sheets, or even if you've got a technology solution that's not delivering full value, then please stop leaving value on the table and start leveraging MineStar Edge to optimize your mine's operations. Let us and our extensive dealer network manage your technology so that you can focus on managing your mine. To take this first step to productivity improvement, we invite you to come and visit us at the Caterpillar stand here at IMARC Online. You can also visit our website at cat.com/MineStar or reach out to your local representative from the Caterpillar Global Dealer Network. Thank you for your time. We look forward to working with you to improve your site's productivity and profitability.
We've had an absolutely fantastic OstMine conference. Over 1,200 delegates. We've had a world-class lineup of speakers and exhibitors who were part of this event. And I look forward to seeing you in 2021 in Perth.